One day your pigs look perfectly healthy. The next you're dealing with coughing, loss of appetite, or even sudden death. Most farmers lose their livestock not because they didn't care, but because they didn't know what signs to watch out for. What if you could catch these threats early enough and protect your herd? Welcome to GAC Podcast, where we bring you practical and proven farming strategies to your ears. I am Joshua Salvation, and today we're diving into a vital topic for all pig farmers, which is recognizing and preventing common diseases in piglets and sow. This episode will help you detect early signs of disease, understand their causes, and apply smart, practical solutions. Please, if you're hearing some sounds of rainfall, know that it is raining over here and it's affecting or beating the roof of my house, of my room. So you obviously hear the interference. I don't think it's so much anyways, but you're gonna hear it. So pardon that. Why does disease management or why is disease management critical in pig farming? Disease outbreaks don't just cause death, they actually reduce growth rate, they hurt the fertility of sow, they increase treatment costs, and shake farmers' confidence over time. When you prevent and detect diseases early, it is cheaper and more effective than treating diseases. What are some common diseases in piglets and what are the signs? The first is neonatal diarrhea or SCARS. Did I pronounce that right? That's SCOURS. Now, the signs of this is we know what diarrhea is: watery stool, dehydration, weight loss, and the cause is E. coli, viruses, and poor hygiene. We know that virus and the rest comes from poor hygiene. So, poor hygiene should be number one cause, while the bacteria or the viruses are secondary causes because the main cause is poor hygiene, right? Now, how do you prevent this? Ensure that you provide clean farrowing pens, you vaccinate your sow properly, and then for immunity boost, you allow or ensure that all piglets take colostrum within the first 30 minutes of birth. Number two is iron deficiency anemia. Signs of this is pale skin, weakness of piglets, and slow growth. And the cause of this is lack of iron in the milk. How do you prevent this? Ensure that you inject iron within the 2 to 3 days of birth of piglet. Number three is hypothermia. It's also known as chilling or cold. And signs is shivering, clustering together, or inactivity. What is the cause of this? When your farrowing pen is cold and when there is lack of energy in the food or the breast milk. How do you prevent this? It's important to warm up the environment to about 30 to 34 degrees. Ensure that beddings that are provided are dry and nurse early. Number four infection or disease is that's for piglets is naval infection. One of the signs of naval infection is swollen navel, pus, and fever or fever. Now, what is the cause of this? First is dirty floor, which also boils down to improper hygiene or poor hygiene. Then second is improper cord care. Now we were told to dip the cord of every piglet into iodine to prevent infection. So do not forget to do that. To prevent this, ensure that you sanitize pens appropriately before farrowing and then apply iodine to the navel or to the navel at birth. Let's move over to the sow now because we can't talk about the kids or the children without talking about their mother. We can't talk about the piglets without talking about the sow. What are some common sow diseases and their signs? Number one is mastitis, metritis, agalactia, MMA complex. mastitis, metritis, agalactia complex. Right? Am I getting that right? Did I pronounce that right? I don't know. But it's actually MMA complex. And the signs are swollen udder, fever, no milk, and poor piglet survival. So the udder, that is the breast, will be swollen and hard. Your sow will start running temperature. There will be no milk production, and the piglets might actually start dying. What is the cause of this? Mastitis is generally caused by bacteria that infects the pigs after farrowing, or the sow after farrowing. How do you prevent this? Ensure that the pen is cleaned properly. That's the farrowing pen. Ensure that it's properly cleaned and sanitized. Then ensure that your sow gets proper diet and control stress effectively. Another is leptospirosis. That is disease number 2 for the sow. Leptospirosis. What are the signs of this? We have abortion, stillbirth, weak piglets. What is the cause of this infection? Is bacteria. So leptospirosis is actually a bacterial infection, and to prevent this, ensure that you vaccinate your sow against it. Control rodents like rats. Avoid dirty water sources. Disease number 3 is a respiratory disease, which is, it can be swine flu, it can be mycoplasma, whichever one, but it's respiratory disease that we used to cover them all. And how do we note respiratory disease in a sow or a pig? First is coughing. Second is nasal discharge and labored breathing, more like asthmatic breathing. Now, what is the cause of these respiratory diseases? It can be virus, it can be bacteria, or poor ventilation. So ensure that there is a good airflow in your pen. That is a preventive measure. Avoid overcrowding your pigs and ensure that you regularly clean your piggery pen and remove their fecal deficits to actually remove odor and enhance airflow in the pen. What are some actionable disease prevention strategies that you can actually take in to ensure that you don't get to start battling diseases when they already strike and start losing money? Number 1 is biosecurity measures. Don't let any other person walk into your farm. It has happened to us and we've lost a lot. Ensure that anybody that is even coming in must pass through a foot deep. It's poultry farms I know that use this foot deep most of the time, but piggery farms that I've gone to do not even have feet deep. They don't have feet deep, where a person sanitizes their foot before walking into the pen, or sanitize their shoes before walking into the pen. There is no foot cover, there is no shoe cover, in case the person's shoe is one that does not get into water. Even if there is none, there should be sanitized slippers or shoes or boots inside the pen already, which the person has to take off the shoes outside and then walk into wear the farm boots before he can get into the pen. So there should be ways, biosecurity measures should be taken to control farm visitors. Quarantine new pigs for at least 14 to 21 days before introducing them with the normal or with the already existing flock. Disinfect boots, I've said this before, equipment and pens regularly. Vaccination schedule should be followed strictly. Follow a vet-approved plan for both sow and piglet. Vaccinate the sow during the gestation period to pass antibodies via milk. Tip 3, or the third way you can actually prevent disease is through proper nutrition. When you feed your sows well, or you feed your pig well, you worry less about diseases. So ensure to feed balanced diet that strengthens immunity and reduces disease risk to your sow or piglet. 4 is stress reduction. Now, stress can actually kill your pigs. Stress can even kill a human. So reduce stress at all costs. Avoid sudden environmental changes. Maintain comfortable housing conditions to ensure proper growth and disease prevention. Last but not the least is that you clean water supply regularly. The tank you're using to supply water, ensure you wash regularly. Ensure that you water that you are supplying to your piglets and your sow are clean and free from pathogens at all times. What do we do when the disease then breaks out? Now, we've talked about how to prevent it, right? Now, what then happens when eventually or unfortunately there is an outbreak of a disease in our farm? First things first, isolate sick animals. That is when you have to pay the most attention here. Note the sick animals, isolate them at least farther away from the healthy ones. This will help prevent the spread immediately. Number 2, call a vet. Now, if you're a vet yourself, you can start tackling the disease, but if you're not, please call a vet. Don't guess. Get expert help. If the vet tells you he doesn't know the disease, take the blood sample of a pig for test in the laboratory if it's closer to you. Record the symptoms of the disease, and that will actually help to diagnose the disease for future prevention. Let's assume that after the whole thing you happen not to be able to save or to save the pigs before they die. That diagnosing or recording the symptoms that are discovered, as well as taking the blood sample to the laboratory for tests, will help you know what kind of disease, so that in case it strikes again, you will be prepared enough to handle it. Number 4 is disinfect thoroughly. Clean all contaminated areas, tools, and pens. Then monitor the entire herd. Look for other at risk the animals, right? Probably animals that the other ones mated with or recent, had contact with or recent, the ones that live closest to their pens and all, monitor them effectively. And then another way, right, or whatever to do whenever disease breaks out is don't serve your pigs, then the healthy and the sick ones, with the same feeding trough, with the same water bowls, whatever you are using to feed them, whatever you are wearing. If you are wearing a boot inside the sick one's pen, the isolation center, whatever you're wearing into the isolation center should remain in the isolation center. Because if you cross use materials, you are going to infect the other. You're going to transfer whatever bacteria or virus or whatever is in one to another. Now, your pigs depend on your eyes, your routine, and your speed. Catching the signs early is the difference between a manageable issue and a full-blown disaster in pig farm. I want to thank you so much for listening to this point. This is GAC Podcast, and if today's episode helped you, you can actually help someone else too. So share it with the person, share it with that agricultural group, subscribe, and look forward to our next episode where we discuss piglet winning strategies that boost growth and reduce stress. Ensure that you keep your pigs healthy, your systems tight, and your knowledge always growing. And I want to say, peace.